What is going on, guys? Welcome to this stream. How you doing today? I see JT's in the chat. I see Shiny Hunter Ralts, Hyrogel, I think. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. How are you guys doing today? Hopefully today's the day, guys. Hopefully today will be the day that we find ourselves a shiny, be it Regidrago or be it an Azelf. How am I doing? I'm doing well. How are you doing? Thanks for asking, JT. I've been doing well. It was a good Sunday. Did a little bit of work on the layout, just moving a couple things around. I moved both the encounter numbers up to above me just to kind of put them in one spot, you know. I might mess with the colors on them some, mess with the colors and the borders too. But like I said, I'm not like trying to like make the whole layout over again in a day. I'm just trying to kind of like do it piece by piece, you know. So that was the piece for today. Was making two different colored rectangles and putting some text in them. Doing quite well. Awesome. That's good to hear, man. Yeah, today was a good Sunday. I did that. I played a lot of Hollow Knight. I got that during the Steam sale, and it is such a fun game. I'm like almost 24 hours into it at this point, which is kind of crazy. It seems like I'm kind of getting through it. Like, I expected some parts to take way longer than they did. So either I front-loaded all this work onto myself on accident, or like that's just how this game is, and like it's intended to be like the things I'm doing that I kind of thought would be like entire chunks of the game on their own, or more so like just kind of small little blips that now you do as part of the story. But it's been fun. It's been fun. I was playing up until like 3 minutes before the stream started, just because like I was too into it and kind of lost track of time a little bit. But I think that's a good thing with games, right? Like you don't want it to be something that you're just like sitting looking at the clock going, when can I stop? If I played Enter the Gungeon, I played like 1 or 2 lives of it on Mel's brother's copy of the game. It seems like one of those games that it's really pretty for me to watch, and I really like the look of it and everything. I'm like, oh, that'd be so much fun. But I feel like I would get too annoyed with myself being bad at it, you know? Like, just roguelites in general are something that I always think are really interesting, but then I'm bad at. And, like, you ever have that where it's like, you look at a game for long enough that you're like, this will be interesting, this will be fun to play, and you're seeing, like, good high-level play in it, and then when you don't have that, it's like, oh, never mind. I feel like that's the kind of vibe I get from Enter the Gungeon, which isn't, like, to say it's bad or anything, it's just my like look into it was kind of like, or my thoughts on it are, it looks like something I would think I would want to play, but I feel like it's something I actually wouldn't want to play. I should really give it more of a try before I say that, but you know, when I'm picking games to like buy, it's like something that I have a feeling I'm not gonna like isn't something that isn't really a smart purchase, you know. But who knows? Maybe I'd love it. Every once in a while, I get on a kick and play Binding of Isaac. So I bought that, like, I forget when I bought it for PC, but the time I really bought it and the time I really played it was on Switch. Don't understand people can be so casual about beating a hard game. I mean, yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, I think it comes down to, especially with a roguelite like that, where it's, the whole point is to play it over and over again. Eventually you get good at it, so beating it isn't really, like, new. You know, like, no matter how hard it is, the 10th time you beat a game is the 10th time you beat a game. You've already done it 9 times. It's not as, like, big of a moment to be like, oh, I beat it again. You know, like, the first time you beat the boss, it's like, how'd I do that? You know, like, games even play off of that usually, right? Like, you'll go up against an enemy that's, like, in a lot of games you'll go up against an enemy that's just, like, sequestered into their own space. and then they come back later as like surprise, and like it's like a big bad. Then like you have this whole like battle with them. You're locked in. It's just you and them one on one, and then they just become a normal enemy later. Doom did that. Doom Eternal did that. I think twice. Doom Hunters and Marauders both were like enemies that were bosses, and then like 2 levels later there was like 5 of them in the level. Despite like Doom not really being a game where you get more power-ups, you just have different weapons maybe. And Juan, how's it going, man? How you doing today? How has your Sunday been? And Octa, welcome as well. How are you doing today? One second. Alright. Yo, Octo, Shiny Ralts, Hunter, Vanillix, how you guys doing today? Usually playing hard mode on Final Fantasy VII Remake. Totally forgot about the stream. All good, man. I almost forgot about the stream too. I was telling JT, I've been playing so much Hollow Knight, and like I was playing Hollow Knight up until like 3 minutes before the stream because I kind of lost track of time, and then I entered a like boss arena, and then I had a massive story point, and then it was like 3 minutes before I was kicking off the stream. Good games can do that, you know. Just got home. Tomorrow is Mac's birthday. Is Mac's one of the dogs? Right? I feel like I should know this. I know Daisy's one of them. I know Daisy. Like, you can't forget Daisy. So I'm playing Hollow Knight on Discord. Yeah, I've been playing so much of that. I had gotten stuck for a little bit. Like, I have a problem, and I think a lot of people here have it. A lot of us have it with Pokemon, right? Of like, there's clearly this path is the correct path, so I'm gonna go on a different one for a while, and then come back to it later in case like I get stuck in a story mode in like a story sequence or something. I've done that several times with Hollow Knight and then forgotten to come back. Mana Culture as well. Yeah, I finally picked it up during the Steam sale. I meant to get it I wanted to get it way back when it initially came out and like was announced for Switch. I was like, this looks so cool, I want this. And then I just never got it for whatever reason. And then the Steam sale happened and it was on sale. I was like, you know what? I've wanted to play Hollow Knight. Now I've put 20 hours into it. It's so much fun. It's fun having a platformer like that that's just like super tight controls. What about Dark Souls 3? I own it. I beat the tutorial boss once. I couldn't do it again if I tried. I had issues with Dark Souls 3 though, like technical issues. Some issues were like, it would just say it disconnected from like the service and like I had to restart despite not wanting any of the online stuff and whatnot. Like just, it kept kicking me out I think because of like issues with my computer trying to reload the game. So, never really played a lot of it. He'll be one. Oh, awesome! An important birthday. Beating the true ending. Still need the other 2 from Godseeker's update. Is that DLC or is that like an update? Because I've seen other people talking about it in like Discord servers I'm in, and it sounds like there's DLC for it, but I haven't actually looked. Which I could just look it up, but I just haven't yet. But there is DLC, right? How's it going, Shiny Ralts Hunter? Yeah, it's DLC. Okay. I'll probably end up getting it. The amount of time I've put into the game and how much I've enjoyed it, like, it's absolutely worth it for more content. Assuming I don't come to, like, hate the game suddenly in, like, a week or whenever I beat it. Gotta get Ori. I've come this close to buying Ori so many times. I don't know why I haven't. Like, back... I think I almost bought it back in high school. If it was out then, I forget. Like early college and late high school with my like Steam purchases kind of blend together. But I came very close to buying Ori at one point on a Steam sale, or it was just on sale on its own. So I don't remember what it was. Oh, I didn't mean to skip into this song again. I'll skip one more. I just know the other song has like one word in it that YouTube might not like, and I can't risk not talking while it comes up this early on in the stream, so I did skip it. But I've come this close to buying Ori so many times. Gotta go eat. Alright, Shiny Rod Center. See ya later. Hope it's good food. Ori 1 came out in 2015. I may have almost bought it in high school then. Or freshman year of college for sure. But yeah, I came so close then. I didn't have money, being a broke college kid. Like, I just didn't have money. I'd already bought other games in the Steam sale, and like, I wasn't in a position to be able to return a game, buy it with other money, and then, you know, get the return money later. Like, I wasn't in that position. And also, I don't think I had any games I wanted to return. So yeah, I didn't do it then. And I think every kind of Steam sale since then has been a similar situation of like, oh, I should get that, but I already bought this other game. Or just, I have so many other games, why would I buy this, you know? I've come really close, and I know it's a good game. I just haven't done it. 2 came out in 2020. Yeah, so it was definitely 1 that I came close to buying. And there's 2 now, okay. Sorry, there's like one piece of hair. This one piece of hair keeps like falling down on my face. The neon colors of Genshin make it fun to look like. Yeah, like that's the thing, right? It looks so cool. I just know that like bullet hell mixed with randomized roguelite is so many different combinations of things I don't enjoy playing a lot. You know, like it's nothing against the game. It's just like I know me as a player would get too frustrated with it just by what I derive satisfaction from with games. Yeah, Ori 1 has a definitive edition now. Yeah, that like it might have been some confusion with like definitive editions or DLCs or something that made me end up not getting it. I forget, but I remember seeing Ori 1 and being like, I want to play that. Here we are like 5 years later, I still just haven't. On the side note, you're doing some battle tree grinding and got a 20 win streak with your main league Artivore. Nice! Yes, Ori's on Switch and PC. Yeah. It would be on Xbox too, right? It was Microsoft. It's like a Microsoft game studio that made it, right? And how's it going? Hyrugel? Sorry if I mispronounced that. But how you doing today? Got a good story, a mix of platforming, some action. A lot of fun chase sequences. I've really enjoyed Hollow Knight's balance. I'm just going to keep gushing on Hollow Knight for right now. I've gotten so into it. But just the platforming in Hollow Knight's so tight, especially once you start unlocking all the different moves. And you can just tell how much story's there, like that's not even like thrust right in your face and everything. Like that you just kind of stumble upon, and it's... I love that kind of story where you can kind of pull a lot of it from it, but I can also go back after I beat this game and just look up, like, what's the lore? And there are people who have dug into it so deep that it's like Halo, honestly. Like the way Halo kind of does it, where it's like, you can find it all, but it's not all, like, they don't just explicitly state every single piece of the Halo lore flat out, right? Like, you get a lot of it from going and finding little extra collectibles or stuff, and then Halo obviously has their whole book series and stuff. It's like, I love when there's, like, I can gather how deep the story is without going and looking it up, but also then, like, once I'm done with the game, I can just go and look it up. Manaphy's asking to be shiny. I'm asking Manaphy to not be as grindy of a hunt to do. I thought the setup was going to be the grindy part, but turns out that was the enjoyable part of it. Turns out it was like playing Ranger 10 times, right? Like, Like, I thought, like, oh man, you know, the hard, boring part is done. I just played through a Pokemon spin-off game 10 times in a row to get a super rare, limited item, a limited digital item, and get 10 of them. Turns out that was the easy part. Getting an average of one encounter every 10 minutes is insane. Which, admittedly, is like Dynamax Adventures kind of does that now, but like, kind of does that now. But there's still stuff going on, and like that's interactive. Where like, the Manaphy hunt was kind of boring, honestly. I want to do it at some point. Having like a legitimate Manaphy and having the video footage of it as well would be a big part of it. Like, proof that I got it is a big part of that one. I want to do that one still. It's just like, there's like, you know, like an hour of nothing. Or like at least like 30 minutes of nothing. And then I hatch a couple eggs. None of them are shiny. Clearly, I mean, it's 1 in 81, 92. Then I reset the game. Play all the way back through the game. Like, it's too much. It's too much. It's something that, like, it would honestly be better to have 2 people doing, but, like, somehow in my mind that takes away from it. Like, if one person mans one DS and the other mans the other, like, I don't know. No, that's probably me being really dumb in that regard, at least. Still hunting Manaphy. It's not that it's not that it's taken this long. It's that I haven't hunted it since like those 3 or 4 streams I did. So whatever encounter number I was at, which was like 30 or something ridiculously low. That's where the count's still at. I just haven't done it since then. I took a break from that hunt because, for a number of reasons, I think one of the big ones is Let's Go came out, so I started doing hunts in Let's Go. Like, as far as reasons why I didn't ever come back to it, there's just other Pokemon content coming out, or Pokemon games coming out to play, followed by me not having interest in continuing the hunt, and then I took a break from streaming for a while, and like, this is the first time I've done a, like, 3 days of shiny hunting in a row on stream in, like, a year and a half, maybe 2 years. No, a year and a half, right? Something closer to a little bit between, something like that. Indie games are so underrated. Indie games have been getting so much more attention recently, and it's such a good thing. Like, and by recently, I mean like in the past like five years or so. Like, as far as I can tell, like Fez is kind of the moment I feel that I really started seeing indie games in a different, like, seeing more indie games get the spotlight. You're gonna lurk and play some Breath of the Wild? Alright, hope Breath of the Wild's fun, man. I'm just gonna redo all my hair. Just gotta pull it all back. There we go. I need to play Mario Kart 64. Yeah. I actually haven't played Mario Kart 64. The oldest one I've played is Double Dash. So yeah, absolutely need to play that. I need to just play a lot of more games. There's so many games that I need to play that aren't even like in a backlog. But then there's all the stuff that's in my backlog that I need to play. Like, there's so many Steam games I don't think I've even booted. And there's so many more that I've booted like twice. But my problem is if I put a game down for more than a week, I won't pick it up again for like a year. Most recent example, this is the song I just skipped, dang it. There we go. It's a good song. I like it. I just really can't have it on the stream at the moment yet. It's too early on the stream. But what was I saying? I was saying something. It's like the most recent example of a game I played a whole bunch of and then put down and probably won't pick it back up for a while, despite not feeling like I was going to put it down. Cyberpunk. I picked that one up. I picked that up release night. Like, I didn't follow any really the hype train or anything for Cyberpunk. saw people post about it. I didn't even know what Cyberpunk was until like Dexit became a big controversy, because it was the same. It was the same E3, I think, right? That they like. I feel like they showed something off of Cyberpunk then, or that's when Keanu came on stage. And that's when I first actually learned about Cyberpunk. So I didn't follow it for, like at least what, five of the 7 years it was in production or whatever. And then I didn't really care. I didn't even intend on buying it. But release night rolled around and I was like, screw it, I'll buy it. I can buy that. And it was a glitchy mess, but it was a fun glitchy mess. It's just, I don't know. I put it down. Yo, Alan, how's it going, man? Welcome to the stream. I think the first indie game that made you change your mind about indies was A Hat in Time. I never had issues with indie games. I just didn't have a lot of experience with them. Like, there's, when I was a kid and like I got like 1 or 2 new games a year, like indie games weren't really an option. In large part, like I didn't know what they were. How was I gonna find them? Like, they didn't have commercials on TV, And then I played on console, so even less of them came to console back then. Like, again, Fez is kind of one of those ones that came to the Xbox Live Arcade and actually did well. But if I got like 2 or 3 games a year, like I was gonna choose Halo because I wanted to play Halo, like a Call of Duty because I wanted to play Call of Duty, and then just like some other game that had a big marketing push, like. No fault on the indies there. I didn't hate them. It's just I didn't hear about them. And also, like, if I'm getting 1 game a year, I'm going to get a multiplayer game that I can play a whole bunch of, not a game that, like, even if it has 20 plus hours of content, that's 20 hours. That's 20 hours over the course of, like, 3 months or something, That's not a whole lot. Quick question, why does a job in game dev pay significantly less than web dev, even though it's harder? Because more people want to be game devs. This is something I had like a whole argument with someone about how like, or not like an argument, but had to explain to them like, it's dumb, it doesn't make any sense, but it's why. So many kids and just people who are coming up through software development are doing it because they have a dream of being a game dev. That a game dev company can work you until you just break and leave because you just cannot handle it anymore. And they go, okay, we have like 50 people who've applied to your position in this past month without us like prompting. Like they've just sent their resume and like if you get an opening. And people know it's a thing, and then they still do it. It's also affected, I feel, by the fact that like games are art, honestly. Like, you can't say they're not. There are plenty of games that absolutely prove that game development is just as much like art as it is programming. And artists who are passionate about what they do will work for less because it's their passion. It's something they would be doing for free, but they have to eat. Whereas, like, I don't just go, oh boy, I want to build full stack financial applications. Like, that's not something that like I derive like inherent joy from, right? Like, so you have to pay me to do it, where other people honestly would almost pay to do it if they just didn't need food, right? Like, so that's kind of where you end up with that, where it's like so many people want to be game devs that you can burn out the ones you have, and you still have like 5 times as many at least who will show up the next day knowing that that's what's going to happen. So that's just what it is. It's almost impossible to make a hit game. Yeah, you have to get really lucky unless you're at like a AAA studio and have like incredible skills if you're doing an indie stuff. You like Cyberpunk, but Witcher 3 is a better CD Projekt Red game. I haven't finished Witcher. I really enjoy Cyberpunk, given all the caveats of its current state of existence. And it definitely needs to be fixed. There's like not really excusing it. Like, arguments of crunch and everything like doesn't change that in its current state it's a bad game, or not necessarily a bad game, but a buggy mess. Like, that's an objective statement about the game, is it's just buggy as heck. Like, Like, you can't do much. Like, they have to fix it before, like, you can say it's not buggy. But I do enjoy it, and I like the story and everything. I just haven't played enough of it. Persona 5 is a 100+ hour game. Yeah, I know. I need to play more Persona. I own it on Steam. Yo, Yami, welcome to the stream. All good? Sorry for writing English or Brazilian. Hey, that's all good. Welcome to the stream. Hope you're doing well. All you need to learn for web dev is a framework and boom, $1 million. Man, I wish. I know like 2 frameworks at least. Like, can I get 2 million? I mean, honestly, making a hit game is probably easier and more likely to happen than making a hit app. Like, think about how many thousands of apps are being developed or just being made every day, like, by indie developers and stuff, and, like, they just flop or they get, like, you know, 50 downloads or something. Like, both have their points, but, like, you don't hear about the like buggy app that didn't do well. You hear about the bad games that didn't do well. Good to hear. You're good. That's awesome, Yemi. I'm feeling it, guys. I'm feeling we'll get Azelf today. I don't know about Regidrago, but I'm feeling Azelf. We are coming up on Regidrago odds, theoretically, but it seems like almost no one's actually gotten this thing under odds, so like I feel like the odds aren't true. If we don't get Azelf, we will get to like 3,000 today. So that's special, right? Cyberpunk was heavily review bombed because people overhyped it. Witcher 3 proved CD Projekt Red can make a great game, plus the bugs made a lot of people turn away. Yeah, I mean, part of it was definitely, like, people who were like, oh, it's not a Cyberpunk GTA. It's like, yeah, they never said it was. Like, that's where you end up in situations where, like, Half-Life 3 would, Valve has flat out stated Half-Life 3 will never happen, like, as Half-Life 3. Half-Life Alyx is probably what was going to be Half-Life 3. Let's be honest. Like, Half-Life 3 wasn't not in development. It was... the development was getting outpaced by the hype. And Cyberpunk had a similar issue. But Cyberpunk's issue is a little bit different from everything I've heard, and I can kind of agree with. It's like... and I would probably be guilty of it as well. All the devs worked on all the cool, fun things, and no one made sure the physics worked right. You know? It's one of those things where they have the time to do it. They clearly had like 8 years, and I know that games can take a long time, and especially big, ambitious games like Cyberpunk, and probably getting rewritten from the ground up on multiple occasions because of how long it was taking, and suddenly ray tracing was a thing that they needed to have support for. New consoles were now a thing, like to the point that they forgot about the consoles they initially planned on releasing on. You know, you have all these ridiculous issues. But, you know, then they're like, look, no, we have to release this game by the end of 2020. And, like, oops. Oops, we have to develop, like, a proper menu. We have to make sure this game... We have to put all the pieces together, and we're missing some. It was in development hell, for sure. And yeah, it's one of those things where people were kind of expecting, like that's where some of like the better games are games that like the devs have had experience, but like it might not be like world renowned yet. Like it's not necessarily AAA. It could be AAA, but like when there's not an expectation of the game to come out at a certain point or anything, like there's no expectations behind the game. It's just a game that suddenly comes out and it has all the features that people would have wanted. It's like a surprise. It's a good surprise. But if there's a whole bunch of expectations behind it, and you meet all those, like, cool, you met them all. People knew that was going to be in the game. That's not surprising. There's no new extra thing. Like, the hype just goes off the charts, right? Like, someone says, oh, they should add this, and then people go, yeah, and then enough people say that, and people are like, oh, it's going to be in there for sure. And it's not in there. The devs never even acknowledged that was a possibility, and people are upset. Like, that's where, like, trying to just, like, keep the hype under control is such an important thing. But also, when a game's in development for 7+ years, and it gets talked about it often enough, like, there's gonna be hype for it, right? Yo, Squishy, welcome. Mel, I don't know if I said hi, welcome, welcome. I didn't think it was inherently gonna flop. I was not expecting it to be nearly as buggy as it was. Really, the signs should have been there, like, when they pushed it back from November to December, that close to it coming out, like, clearly it was going to be a hefty day one patch, but it was like, all right, maybe, like, there's a big flaw, but it's like one big flaw they need to figure out or something, when it was actually a whole bunch. In the mood to greet people today. Woo! Don't want to be that guy, but kind of knew Cyberpunk was going to be a mess. Whenever a company hypes up a game, you lose your expectations. I mean, whenever a company hypes up a game, it's not necessarily fair. I mean, marketing is marketing, and they have to do it. If the company doesn't start hyping up the game, that's not going to happen. But when it drags on for so long and is continuously getting hyped, yeah, like, you start running into this issue of, is it in development hell, or is it just this massive passion project that's continuously getting work poured into it? But after 7 years, if you haven't released a game, it's because you don't have a game. But how you doing, Mel? Greet every car that passes you. Greet all your neighbors. You got Reggie Ellicky with no shiny charm at 999. Nice. Some good luck right there. Refuse to greet your neighbor across the street because of the obnoxious bright light. Ah, they turned it back on. How dare they? What happened to your neighbor dude who blasted his music? I don't know. I heard him earlier today. He must have finished the song or whatever he was working on. Or he bought headphones finally. I'm not sure. But yeah, someone, I don't know if it was him or not, but like my floor was shaking for about 5 minutes earlier today, and it was just like clearly like bass from something. I'm like, what is going on? But I imagine whoever's much closer to them and knew it was like next door, like, said enough of that. Watching the bucket list while watching the stream. What's the bucket list? I'm nervous I'm going to miss Regidrago because I'm focusing on Azelf more than Regidrago. I know that's bad, but it's what I'm doing. You got a month of HBO Max, and it's actually not bad. Yeah, I have Max. It's good. It's good for a lot of the non-HBO stuff it has. Like, it weirdly, at least for me, has a little bit of Crunchyroll, which I was not expecting. It has Studio Ghibli. Cartoon Network is nice. What else? Oh, it has a lot of DC stuff, which can be hit or miss. But the Harley Quinn show on there is phenomenal. Anyone who is old enough to watch it should absolutely watch it. It is great. Like I just get it with HBO Max at least. My HBO Max at least. I don't know what I get it with my cable package, so I don't know. I don't know if it's the same for everyone or not. Like when I go into HBO, like an HBO Max, like and go to like scroll down to the sections, like one of the ones with like Cartoon Network. For me at least, Unjust is on there. I haven't seen that in a long time. I've been watching Teen Titans. That's been good background noise. Aren't you gonna playback error? I don't know. That's weird. I don't think YouTube's having issues in that regard. Teen Titans is on there? For me at least, again, I believe it is. Like there's a lot of stuff. I've had HBO Max for like forever, but I didn't like actually turn it on until like late November, early December. And I checked, I was like, oh, this has a lot of good things. I was also very surprised with the amount of content they had, and it's all great. Teen Titans, yeah. Like the original Teen Titans, not Go. I don't think it even has Go. I haven't explored that much. Yeah. Like really, it's like you have to like go all the way down for it to show you a lot of that stuff, I think. Like on the side menu at least. Like if I go in on my iPad and like open up like swipe the side menu open and go all the way down, that's when it shows it, and it's a lot of stuff. Alright guys. This is odds for Regidrago right here. Are we gonna find it on odds? Nope. Hulu has Go? Okay, so it's probably only on Hulu then. Whatever contract stuff. It's that thing where like the contracts kind of come in and then like as soon as they expire they like get sent to the other platforms. Because I'd be surprised if they weren't trying to like keep it all together. Because I don't think anyone that would have, because like most of that stuff's Cartoon Network, which means like it's Turner. It's all Turner owned, and Turner doesn't have a stake in HBO or in Hulu. I don't think they have a stake in HBO either, but if Cartoon Network as a whole has a contract and DC has a contract, I would assume eventually Warner Bros. Would want Teen Titans Go over there, and this kind of like, no, you can have the bad one. CBS All Access is every episode of SpongeBob. Oh yeah, CBS All Access is getting like the Nick stuff, right? As Viacom. Because whatever the like iCarly reboot thing or revamp or whatever it's called is going to like Paramount, which is on CBS, I think. Unless Paramount made their own, I forget. That was a very strange piece of news to hear like a month or two ago. Oh, they still make it. Oh, that might be why it's on Hulu then, since Hulu's way more about like shows that are coming out. CBS getting all Nickelodeon stuff. It's getting so convoluted to find everything. Like, like stuff moves around, it shuffles and everything, and then like, you know, shows move from one platform to another, and then like you have things like Teen Titans where one's on one, goes on the other. Like, yeah. Everyone wants to get a piece of the streaming pie, but it's like there's you run out of room eventually, like, because eventually like you end up in a situation where like people are gonna be like, well, I want to watch, you know, one show that's on this service, but I don't want any of the other stuff, and it's an expensive thing for a monthly deal. So It's like cable packages all over again, basically, at this point. iCarly's getting a reboot. It's really weird. They got, like they got Miranda Cosgrove and Freddie, I want to say. I forget who plays Freddie, or his name. But I think they got them back. I don't think they got Sam. They didn't get Jeanette McCurdy. But it's really strange. Like, I have no clue anything about this, except that it's a thing. The Watch Cartoons Online has every show on there. Yeah, because they don't care about legality as far as I know. Like, their premise is, just come watch it. We don't care. The first 4 seasons of SpongeBob is worth watching. I'd love to go back and watch some SpongeBob. Probably why CBS wants it, so they can get some of the, like, nostalgia. I see. Yeah, iCarly reboot's like a continuation of the OG iCarly, and they're trying to use the OG cast. Yeah, like, they've got some of the OG cast, but, like, I don't think they got everyone, and I don't know if that's just because they haven't, like, locked in contracts yet, or if, like, they just, like, people are like, no, why would I want to come back to this kind of thing? I think it might be a bit of both. But yeah, no, it's legit. I'm not, like, it's not like a meme or anything. Like, it's actually announced they're making it, like, rebooting iCarly. With original cast of all things, too, which is the weirdest part. Honestly, like, I'm not surprised they're bringing it back. Like, we're in the age of, like, just reboot a series, don't make a new one. But the fact that they got, like, actual, like, original cast members back, especially, like, some of them that are a bit bigger, you know? Like, I don't know how you get them to say yes. Better bring back Spencer, you're not watching. Fair. Yeah, I don't know who all's... Because I only saw it, like, right when it was announced, and then didn't pay attention at all after that. Dan Schneider in charge of it? I doubt it. Yeah, like I said, I know the bare minimum of confirming that headlines weren't, like, photoshopped when I saw pictures and links. Like, I don't know, what the heck? Also saw it was on Paramount and went, oh, okay. And then just, like, went away. It's like, alright, never mind. Doesn't want to come back because of the... Yeah. Yeah. That's why I doubt Schneider would be back as well. Or I doubt he would be back because of controversies and whatnot. I can also just see a lot of them being like, nah, I don't want to go back to the child star stuff, essentially. Like, I have grown past this. I don't want to come back to, you know, Nick or whoever's doing this again. Yeah, because, yeah, for a lot of child stars, it's just not great. In general. So I can imagine being like, no, I've washed my hands of this, I'm done. I can see that as a valid thing. Yeah, it's true. Did you think I was lying, Vanillix? Of course it's true. Own podcast on YouTube. I feel like a lot of people who, you know, were like big on TV back in the late 2000s transitioned to that pretty decently. Yeah. Yeah, Paramount Plus. Yeah, exactly. Like, it's... The only thing I can really think it is, and the reason why they're bringing back, like, or they you know, they got, like, Miranda Cosgrove and they tried to get McCurdy, like, is because now you have people who grew up with iCarly. Like, they need a flagship show for Paramount Plus, because, like, why is this yet another streaming service, right? Like, does Paramount have enough content that people want to go watch? I mean, Paramount Pictures, yes, has a good bit of stuff, but, like, do they have enough, like, big, heavy hitter things? Like, Disney can do their own thing because they're Disney. They own so many things Yeah, like if you want to watch Star Wars, Marvel, like any Fox show, like yeah, you go there. You watch any old Disney movie? Yes. Disney has the back catalog and the current production to like run a streaming service. Like, what's Paramount gonna do? They're gonna have one big show that people are gonna wait to use their trial. Like, people are either gonna use a free trial to watch whatever first episode comes out or whole season if they just dump it all at once, which they'd be dumb to do. But they'll get a second wave of free trials right at the end of like the season when someone can just binge it all in a day, and then cancel. I don't see Paramount having enough to hold it. Disney Plus has to wait for contracts to run out on stuff. I know like Iron Man 2's on Amazon Plus. Or on Amazon Prime. Not Plus. Disney Plus. Amazon Prime. Because they're on Amazon Prime. And like that's their contract right now still. I think some of the movies are on Netflix as well for a similar reason, but they're not renewing the contracts, right? Like they're just gonna pull those in. Cartoon Network should make a streaming service. Turner would make a streaming service, not Cartoon Network. And they seem to just be. There's a Cartoon Network section on HBO. It's already all in one place. Let's not push it off to another one. Like HBO having, it's cool for multiple companies to be on the same platform. I don't want them to have their own because I don't want to pay for another one. Like kind of the state that we're at now is a lot of these streaming services, like the contracts running out as new ones come out, as new streaming services appear. You have like these like 2 to 5 year contracts for how long series will be on whatever, and like you need, like when Disney releases one, it's going to be a little messy until all the old contracts they had before they made their own service run out, and then they can have their own. You know, Peacock's a thing now, so any like Comcast, NBC property is going to be like going there as it runs out on other services. But it's got to run out. Like The Office had to run out before it got moved to Peacock, right? There's nothing on Cartoon Network nowadays. Like that's the thing. Like again, the reason Disney Plus isn't dumb, like I feel like CBS is. Like, CBS is the only other one that I can really think that's, like... I can think of CBS because it's the only one that's, like, impeded me finding shows before, really. That's a, like, sole company doing their own thing. Is because, like... Like, what does CBS have? CBS has, like, every once in a while they have something, or, like, you know, they have their, like, 3 or 4 shows that are running on TV. Like, I guess, like, they had Big Bang Theory, but that's gone now. Right? Like... They don't have enough to keep it going on their own. Where Disney has so many different companies under them, like part of the problem and like people's complaint with Disney is that they just own everything now. But it makes it where they can actually have a streaming service that makes sense. Yeah, The Office moved to Peacock. Yeah, left Netflix. Let's watch Looney Tunes and Tom and Jerry on Boomerang. Yeah. You see the Cartoon Network section. Yeah. Like, it's all there. Like, let it stay there. Let it stay in its own place. Like, it's cool that it's, like, separated out on the service, but it's like you pay for one service and you get a bunch of different things. If they remove Cartoon Network, they're not going to charge less for Cartoon Network, or they're not going to charge less for the whole service because Cartoon Network's there, right? Like, that's the... Like... Nah, like... Don't encourage things... spreading apart in that regard, you know? Oh, wrong one. I mean, yep. I changed the station up here. There we go. Just want to mix it up some. Mostly songs I played yesterday. Most Cartoon Network shows used to be on Hulu. Yeah, there's probably some Turner deal then. At that time. Hulu was also just... For a while there, Netflix was movies, Hulu was TV. So, you know, most TV services would want to be on Hulu. Because Hulu's model of, like, show releases lined up more, right? You know? Like Hulu is more set up for TV shows that were currently airing, you know? So, like, it comes out on Hulu the day after it was on TV, right? Like, it made more sense, you know, for, like, Cartoon Network that deals mainly in TV shows to do it that way. Also in dealing with having new TV shows. Nostalgia trip. Oh, Ben 10 stuff. I never got into Ben 10. I feel like that's like a failing of me when I was a kid, but I never got into Ben 10. Because it's not even like it was before or after my time. It was like dead set something I should have been like the target audience for. I just never got into it. I honestly think what happened is one of like my younger cousins got into it and I was like, oh, it's a kid's show. Despite I was like 10. They were like 8, like 7 or something. Like they were not that much younger than me. I guess in the US it's probably still on Hulu, yeah. Because I know Ben 10's been on HBO in various other countries. Since before HBO Max was even a thing. Yo, Wes, how's it going, man? Good to see ya. How have you been doing? You good? I'm doing pretty well. Doing pretty well. Been getting back into streaming the past couple days. You know, like I'd taken a break for a while, and then I was like, I'm gonna get back into it, and then I was only doing like a stream or two a week, and work got crazy, and then I stopped, but getting back into it. Been doing good. So I dropped by real quick. Had to go in a minute though. That's all good, man. It's good to see you though. Thanks for stopping by. Like Ben 10 Omniverse. There were so many different series of that, weren't there? I just know some amount of Ben 10 was on HBO in Scandinavia and in Spain, which sounds random, but that's like when I was working some of my internships, I was working on those two specific regions with HBO. No problem. Good luck. Thank you, man. Thank you. Hopefully we can get lucky today. I'm hoping we can get a Azelf soon here. I feel like Reggie Drago's gonna go longer. From everything I've seen from other streamers, like Reggie Drago goes over odds every time, no matter what you do. Like at this point, we're already over odds with it, but like that was to be expected apparently. They had a bunch, yeah. Like they kept just. I mean, I feel like a lot of cartoons did that. That's not like uncommon stuff, right? I know Scooby-Doo's done that so many different times. Right? They just have like different series that are either just like different points in time or like just whole different universes that ignore the other ones entirely. You need Ben 10 now. I think a lot of cartoons fell into whatever trap those ones fell into in like the mid 2010s. Yo, Altus Games, welcome to the stream. Hero Voltes, hopefully I pronounced that streamer's name correctly. Is it 4K for Drago? Like I'm I'm like not surprised from everything I've heard. Like almost everyone I've talked to has gone over 2,000 at least for Eliki or Drago. It's like the charms just like the shiny charm just doesn't work for it. Which that seems to make sense, honestly. Like that seems to be the most likely case, right? Like it's not like it's gonna have special odds that the charm only brings it down a certain amount. It's like it either works or it doesn't. So either we're over odds or we're nowhere near odds yet, right? So yeah, I don't know. I haven't done a lot of digging or anything to see what's like the true odds for it or anything if people have figured it out, but it definitely seems like it's not affected by the charm properly. I'm going to bed because of school. All right, see you later. Thanks for stopping by the stream, man. Hope you had a good day. Hope school goes well for you tomorrow. It's going to be rough for me tonight. I've stayed up extra late 2 nights in a row. Like Friday night and Saturday night, which I do all the time. And I know that it's just it makes Sunday night so much worse, or Monday morning especially so much worse, but that's how it is sometimes, right? You're obsessed with Generator Rex and Ben 10 as a kid. I don't know what the first one of those is. I don't know what Generator Rex is. Hey, Jermaine, welcome back. How you doing? How's your Sunday been? It was made by the Ben 10 people. I guess that'd make the most sense for it being for it crossing over then, right? Like, if you know both franchises, you're the one that's gonna best be able to mix them. His arms can turn into different machines. That just sounds like partially Ben 10. Like, Ben 10's just a kid who can turn into just various monsters when he needs to. You're good. That's good to hear, man. It's good to hear. Hey, we're to 3,000 on Azelf. What's going on with that? Like, I forget that, like, I have the charm. I have the charm for this one. Odds were the same as Drago, and Drago's over odds. So we're 2 times over odds on Azelf. Over 2 times over odds. That's crazy. But it happens. It happens. This happens, and we get Ho-Oh in 32 encounters, you know? That's just how it be. They're called aliens. Yeah, they are, aren't they? And it's probably been longer since I ever watched that show than you guys did. Actually, no, it might be less time. I watched it in like 2018. It was one of the shows we had in pre-production. So when we had to test the kids section on the app, that was like the one show we could use to like test multiple episodes in a row. So I watched a lot of Ben 10 that summer, but watching to watch a show and watching to like test if the app's breaking are very different things. So we used that, and then we used a bunch of like random obscure HBO shows. Like they wouldn't let like their big shows into the pre-production environment. Like, you know, they had to upload certain shows that we could like use. So we had such a weird sparse list of things we could watch. So it was just watching the same things over and over again. And not really watching, just playing them. Playing them and then doing other work on the side, right? Got a shiny female Rowlet, nice, but has terrible IVs in nature. You got it around 8,000 eggs. 8,000. Dang, dude, that's a lot. I'm doing an Abra, like, as a personal hunt off stream through Masuda Method in Sun. I can't imagine that one going for 8,000 eggs. That's crazy, man. Granted, I had two. Why am I blanking on the name of this? There's no way I've forgotten the name of this Pokemon, but I might have. I might have just blocked this whole Cranidos. Cranidos, yes. Both of my shiny Cranidos took so long. So long. Like, honestly, if there was a hunt that, like, killed my motivation for shiny hunting, like, as much as I did back in, like, in the... What was essentially... What was... Well, not essentially. The spring 2017 semester of college for me, where I did, like, 700 hours of shiny hunting in that semester. And then I did, like, another 300 plus in the summer. Like, I came up on the Cranidos hunt, and it was, like... It took too long, and I stopped. So, both of those took an obscene number of eggs, and I wouldn't be surprised if those were in the several thousand like that. You gotta buy episodes of Gen Rex. Yeah, some shows still just aren't on streaming services at all. It happens though, Jermaine, it happens. You know, like what's happening here, both these hunts are over odds at this point. But, like, the next hunt might be, like, 50 encounters. Who knows? You just never know with the shinies, right? What happened to Game Explain? I haven't heard of anything happening to them, no. Oh, yikes. That can get you in big trouble as an official company. Oh, everyone quit. I didn't know that. I don't really follow Game Explain too closely. Like I don't follow Game Explain content. I find Game Explain content when looking up other stuff. You know, like back when Sword and Shield were getting new information and everything, and like we were getting like we got our first like look at Galar and everything, and we were looking. You know, everyone was looking into that. Like, yeah. That's when I end up on Game Explain content. I never, like, look for it specifically. There we go. That's a bargain. Yeah, but you want to be on the paying side of that. You don't want to be on the on the receiving side of that, right? You applied to work for Nintendo Life? How'd that go? Yeah, I feel like ending up at a like journalism company that does YouTube stuff is something I can imagine there being like a bit of a draw towards of, like, I know this company, I want to work there, or just, like, any kind... Like, I'd imagine Game Explained falls into a similar thing like we were talking about, just, like, video game companies as a whole earlier. You know? Like, or, like, video game devs compared to other devs, and how the pay is, like, ridiculously different. I can see, like, that ending up in a similar situation. Yeah, that'd be a lot to do for nothing. Like that's one of those things when you're a company that deals with video games like that, you tread a really weird line. You know, like say I worked for a game like just for me to be able to say like I worked for a game or like a game journalism company. and a new like Sword and Shield came out, and I'm the Pokemon guy. They want me to review the Pokemon game. It's like, was I going to play was I going to play Sword and Shield anyways for hours on the day it came out? Like when Sword and Shield came out, I took a day off work. Like I put in time off in anticipation of Sword and Shield coming out to play Sword and Shield on that Friday. Like that's what I did, and I did that. But like if my job was reviewing and playing games, and part of my job was going to be that game, is this work? You know, like if I'm not taking down notes, you can argue that if I'm playing for fun, I'm playing for fun. But if I'm like making remarks on the game afterwards based off that experience, that's now like work, right? Like it's a weird line to end up on. Like clearly I side in favor of, if you're paying these people to do a job and they do the job, you pay them for the time. $5.50 a month. Doesn't matter how many hours you worked. I would work a minimum hours then, right? I mean, theoretically, that's just a salary. An incredibly low one, but a salary. You want to watch Gen Rex now? That has been brought up. Disable their subscriber account. Do you disable that? I thought that was just... YouTube's been implementing a whole bunch of stuff to keep, like... to prevent, like, people from showing, like... Because there have been all the, like, massive, just, like... unsub like waves that'll hit people after controversy, and YouTube's trying to mitigate that. Like the idea being the court of public opinion makes decisions before there's any deliberation, like just comes down on someone, and so YouTube's trying to protect the creators by essentially like preventing that review bombing from showing up. You can disable them manually? Okay. Alright, I guess they probably did that then. Understandable in their situation. Like... like, if accusations are true, I think it's a terrible thing they did, but, like, I understand them doing that. Like... makes sense. Because it definitely impacts how many people leave. Like one of the first times that really happened was like Fine Bros, when they tried to like trademark reaction videos, and like that was like the first time you saw people like, that was the first time you saw Social Blade used to like watch a channel decline. You know, and then James Charles was another example of that and everything, and like millions of people unsubscribing. So you try to prevent that, because, you know, if there's no number to make go down, then like less people will unsub. You know, it's just like a psychology thing. If you're a game reviewer, you'd actually be honest and give an honest review. I mean, that's what you're supposed to, that's quite literally the job description, right? Obviously, there's an argument to be made if sometimes people don't do that, and that's not good. Like, you end up in, like, the situations of, like, paid reviews, or, like, paid opinions, essentially. This year started off, well, phenomenally. Phenomenally. Oh, that doesn't have it. Honestly, though, most people do. Like, most reviewers obviously want to grow and get bigger because then they make more money. But you always hear the controversies, but like every, week, like dozens of reviews are posted for, games and stuff, and dozens is an undershot on that number. And we only hear about them every once in a while because of controversy. Like, that's kind of a good sign, right? And like everyone denounces the people who, the companies who are bribing for reviews, to a point, slapping the people who, gave a false review. I mean, it destroys your credibility. Like, if you don't review properly, you're playing a really risky game, right? You end up in, like, every single video you make's a gamble that someone finds out. And as soon as it happens, you lose all credibility. And, like, everything you make from then on is not gonna be as impactful. Paid reviews seem more common. Being paid to do a review is different. Like, there are plenty of reviewers who have been given free copies, obviously, or the developer sponsor the video, but by, like, at least US law, that has to be, like, clearly stated. You can't just say, like, under the table money's way shadier, and that's the stuff that you don't want to be found out for. Yo, the Vanny Tribe. Welcome, haven't seen you all day. Yeah, where did Juan go? Never met him. Yeah, you've never been here at the same time. Always just miss him. Probably watching Gen Rex. There we go. Yeah, that's where Juan went. So guys, what should I put on, like, the starting soon and the ending screens for the streams? Like the buffers, the buffer cards essentially at either end. Any ideas on what should go there? Just because, like, they feel kind of empty. I should probably go back to what I had before, right? Like, back in the day, I had the like the images of the Pokemon we were hunting showing up. I should probably go back to that. Put some pixel animation of a Pokemon. That's always a safe bet. Face out of context. Yeah, there we go. Make a new PogChamp emote. I don't know. I feel like I couldn't do that, though. For one, I'm lame and I'm terrible at, like, doing stupid stuff. But but also, I never got into the like Twitch culture enough. Like, I had to, like, double check what Pog meant the other day. I was like, that's a good. I got asked what it meant. I'm like, I can't confidently say the answer. Did DC Universe subscription fail because almost everything went to HBO? Probably. DC's trying a little too hard to be Marvel. And it's like your whole, like, comic universe isn't set up to be that. Like, all the IPs that DC owns aren't really set up to work that way. And really, they just don't have Jon Favreau. That's honestly most of it, in my opinion. Is like, you don't have Jon Favreau, you're not gonna make, like, super great pop culture movies. Yeah, DC fell off, yeah. Rip PogChamp, Rip Call Me Carson, Rip Game Explain. What happened to Carson? I didn't know there was something with Carson. I don't follow a lot of stuff. The only one of those three I knew about is PogChamp. It's funny how Joker's doing better than the hero movies. Isn't that always been a saying, though, that Marvel makes good heroes and DC makes good villains? Because, kind of, yeah, I mean... My favorite piece of DC, my favorite DC thing right now is the Harley Quinn show. Like, that's the best thing. Granted, they also do a pretty bad job at the villain movies sometimes as well. Like, Suicide Squad exists. They had Batman. They have Batman. They have Superman, but Superman's, like, too OP to make anything good with, right? Like he's Superman. He is Superman. Like, he's just amazing at everything. Like, you read the comics to be like, yeah, look at him, look how badly he's beating a guy, but that makes a bad movie. Or, like, a comic can have a little bit more nuance and, you know, issue to issue have, like, different stories that just kind of somewhat intertwine, but, like, Superman doesn't work for an hour and a half long. Watching the Harley Quinn show currently, actually. Dude, it's so good. It's so good. Apparently Batman can beat Superman. There's no reason he should be able to, but apparently. The Flash. I mean, they have Justice League. Like, they have... Before the MCU, if you went up to someone on the street, they would more likely be able to name you DC heroes than Marvel heroes. Like, pre the Iron Man movie coming out, honestly, Hulk and Spider-Man. Those are the two, like, Marvel heroes that people knew. At least for me, you know, those are the only ones I really knew. And then I knew all the Justice League, because the Justice League's had cartoons. DC seems to do way better with like TV shows than movies, and also regularly animated stuff like the Harley Quinn show, which is amazing, and just accepting that they're a bit more mature of a franchise is usually when they do really well. The Arrowverse is great. I haven't seen anything in that. That was all, like, TV stuff, though, too, right? Again, DC can't do cinema right, it seems. Every once in a while, they have a good run where, like, they had Christopher Nolan Batman, so they had all the Dark Knight stuff. They had the Joaquin Phoenix Joker. They've had good things, but it's not consistent, right? They flopped with Suicide Squad. Birds of Prey flopped for multiple reasons? Right? Like, for one, they didn't call it Harley Quinn. They just called it Birds of Prey, which made a lot of people not know what it was. And then it's the same Harley Quinn that was in Suicide Squad in that universe. And that flopped. Like, you can't expect people to think that a spin-off to a bad movie is going to be better, because generally spin-offs are synonymous with not being as good. Sometimes they're good in their own ways, but usually it has to come from, like, a good foundation. Didn't know Wolverine. I guess I knew X-Men, that's true. But, like, if you asked me to name them, like, off the top of my head, I would just name Justice League and, like, Spider-Man, and that's it. Granted, outside of a couple of the X-Men movies, those were not handled very well either. I mean, you had, like, Logan was good. Deadpool technically falls in that realm, but was made by more mainstream MCU kind of people. So I don't know if it counts as much. In terms of saying, like, I think I hit that one already. But yeah, off the top of my head, I honestly probably wouldn't have named Wolverine. You like Birds of Prey? I heard it wasn't bad, it's just the marketing wasn't in its favor. Yo, Wise Doggo, welcome to the stream. You struggle for the Reggie Drago is over? I hope so, Wise Doggo. You don't like X-Men movies? I never really got into them. Like, I should probably try to at least watch one or two of them again, but I think I have, like, vague memories of them being on the TV at some point when I was a lot younger, and, like, nothing inherently wrong with that, but, like, I was confused and didn't understand it because I hopped in, like, 2/3 of the way through the movie, so, like, the movie was boring to me because it was just, like, this slow part, and I was, like, 7. So, like, I was like, this is confusing, I don't like it, and that's just been, like, a feeling that's stuck with me despite, like, not watching them since then. Always like the X-Men movies. Like I said, maybe I'll give them a shot at some point. Didn't like Apocalypse. Was that one of the X-Men movies? Yeah, I'm trying to think. The only X-Men movie I've seen is Logan, and that one was good. But that also felt different. Or at least it seemed different from everything I had seen about other X-Men movies. Like, it was very much a specific thing. Yo, a horse, how's it going, man? I guess you missed most of the stream. We've still got over 30 minutes left. So technically, yes, most of the stream has happened, but like 25% still left. We got half an hour. Also, the X-Men movies on Disney Plus. Probably also just that contract thing. Like, they own them all. They own Fox now. They own that part of Fox. Horseman is here. Horseman has arrived. Never fear, everyone. How are you doing today, man? Didn't ask you that yet. You're gonna make your own Omnitrix watch? There you go, dude. I've had a couple like little projects and stuff I wanted to make. I think I mentioned the Mechatron, like the animatronic rowlet. That would be so cool. I have ideas for that, but I just hit the point of actually needing to buy stuff for it, and I'm not that confident in it, you know? Like, that's where I'm at with that. You know, like, it ends up in the situation where I was like, well, conceptually, especially as like a programmer, it's like I can program stuff all day long for it. I've gotten proof of concepts down for anything software related with it, but those don't require any more money than I've already spent on computers. You're doing great. That's awesome to hear, man. Also have the old Fantastic Four movies. I only saw the first one of those so long ago. It'd be interesting to watch it again. Transformer toys are lit. Dude, I had so many different Transformers as a kid, and they were awesome. But then I had a couple that I lost, and I'm so sad that I lost them. One of the ones I had, those was like my favorite. It was something I had gotten for Christmas one year. Was an Optimus Prime that transformed in 2 ways. Like the like cab of the truck would transform into an Optimus Prime, but if you transformed it a different way, you could combine it with the trailer that came with it and have like a massive one. That was so cool. I think I like a piece or 2 broke off it or something at one point, but it was such a cool one. It would be pretty cool to find one of those again, actually. But it's probably such a vague term to search for, and I don't know what I would actually do with it. But like the nostalgia of that. Really, I need to just go through like one of the toy boxes that's back home. Just like dig through it and be like, what's in here? What all is in here? I'd probably find, I bet you, I would probably find my old Fire Red cartridge and maybe my Sapphire cartridge too. Like, I have no reason to suspect those wouldn't be in there somewhere. I've dug through it before, but I've never, like, pulled everything out. It's always been, like... It's always just been, like, the thing where I, like, kind of, like, dig through it and just push all to one side and all to the other side. But, like, of course, the little cartridge will stay in that. Beyblades, though, I had a lot of Beyblades, too. I think the first Beyblade I got, like, right before I started kindergarten. Because, like, my parents were out, like, getting my sister, because they adopted her and stuff, like, on my first day of school, so I was with my grandparents, and I remember us going out to dinner, like, the night before or something, or, like, a night or two before, and, we stopped at a store, and, like, they let me buy a Beyblade, and I was so happy. I think that's how I first got a Beyblade. And Emma Brown, welcome to the stream. How you doing today? You want to watch Bakugan again? I never got into Bakugan. The concept of the little toys is really cool to me, and, like, the mechanisms are impressive. Never got into them, though. Able to get your hands on a leaf stone, so your Gloom is a Vileplume now. Nice! I know there's hate for saying this, but you don't like Guardians of the Galaxy. Fair. I mean, that was one of the bigger movies for them, I think, in terms of, like, popularity. You know, it had its own feel, and... But I saw the second one before I saw the first one, and I prefer the second one, I think. I like the movies the Guardians are in. I don't dislike it. I wouldn't say they're my favorite Marvel movies, though. You want to buy all the Bakugan? How dare that kid, Mel? I would never do that to you. I definitely did get tricked with Pokemon cards on the bus, though. So they took advantage. The worst possible outcome here, right? Getting scammed out of Beyblade or out of Bakugan. Yeah, Mel would never let me do that to her. I would be dead. I wasn't allowed to trade Pokemon cards after my neighbor tricked me a couple times. Because I was like 2 or 3 years younger than him. So he'd like have me, he'd be like, oh, this is a good card. I'm going to give you this card and for like 3 of those because those are bad cards. I'm like, okay. And my parents were like, how do you only have like 5 cards now? I was like, oh, because, you know, so-and-so across the street gave me these good ones for all of my bad ones. Like, yeah, you can't trade these anymore. So like, we just bought you like a whole thing of cards and you have like 5 now. You traded those a lot when you were a kid. Yeah, like I said, I never traded them a lot. Then I put them all in a box, and they all got ruined. My parents were like knew that like they were gonna be valuable to at least some extent. They like got a like, you know, the binder sheets to put them all in and stuff. But then I just took them all back out and started messing with them, and then just put them all in a box. And then I've told the story of what happened to those a bunch of times. They all got ruined. So clearly my parents were correct, and like 3rd grade Ian was very wrong. Yu-Gi-Oh's better than Pokemon cards. Card-wise, probably. I mean, like, Yu-Gi-Oh! Is centered around the cards. Pokemon's centered around the games and just happened to make a card game off it that was also successful. Like, I don't think they set out to make a card game and it's like, oh, we'll make a video game first to promote our card game. Or like, Yu-Gi-Oh! Does that. They just make video games that are the card game to promote buying the cards. Both are expensive though. Oh yeah. But then those kids who traded their Holo Charizard for a double stuffed Oreo. I mean, at the time, it's lunch, you're hungry, you know. What's a card that's worth several $1,000s now versus an Oreo? You can't eat the card. You can't get as much value from that. Both are kind of expensive. Oh, they're like... Every card game's like wildly expensive. Especially if you're like not like going about... Like, if you're actually trying to build, like, a competitive deck to go and play physically somewhere, and you have to have certain cards, like, physically, and you can't just, like, forge them. Yeah, it's crazy. Pokemon cards bend easy. That way they can sell you the Pokemon card protectors. Digimon cards are better than Pokemon cards. I have no opinion there. I have no Digimon experience. You're back. Welcome back, Shiny Hunter or Shiny World Center. How you doing? Glad you go trading with people. You get so many good cards. You never give them away. Nice. Good on you. Hold on to those. Competitive Yu-Gi-Oh! Is crazy expensive. I'm not surprised. Japanese cards don't bend. They're high quality, that's why you collect those. Interesting. I'd have to compare my Gen 7 Japanese and Gen 7 English cards and see if there's like a difference. I want to build a Rayquaza deck, but Shaman got banned, so that's out of the window, or out the window. Why? What's special about it, and why did Shaman get banned? I don't think I ever had any like actually valuable cards, to be honest. Like, I think I ended up with a couple like Gen 2 or maybe Gen 1 cards, so I guess those would have been expensive, but those got ruined. But I think the mass of my cards were Gen 3, because that's just when I was into Pokemon and what was out at the time. But I would always want the big boxes. And my parents would also more readily buy the big boxes, because it was like $20 for this giant box with like a shiny card right on there, guaranteed to get, which I mean just makes it not actually a valuable card. You know, they're printed by the thousands for this box, right? Like, so we had that. And so we would get those because obviously I wanted the giant box with the shiny card in it. My parents were like, all right, well, I mean, it's $20 for that, or it's like $5 for this tiny pack that you don't know what's in it. Like, obviously that makes sense, but that just made it where all of my cards were like the promo deck cards. So like, oh, this is so cool. I had like a holographic Mew, but it was like, yeah, it's like worth like a penny because they just printed them and it's straight there on the box. In a few Shaman EXEs you sold for $50 each, and you bought a 3DS XL Shamans. That is nice, actually. That's pretty nice. I think the most valuable card I have is like $5, and it's like a Metagross GX or something. I don't know. I didn't actually look up the value of a lot of my cards just because I didn't really care. I was like, I got them and I put them on a shelf. All about Pokemon coins now. Aren't valuable enough for someone to want. Yeah, you can just like complete your own collection of those. I mean, everyone has like their coin that they want to use for their deck, but unless like it's some super special coin, like there was like limited run, like Pokemon card coins a coin. Favorite set slated one for the 20th anniversary. The favorite box I have is Mel got me the Lily and Cosmog Japanese box. That was really cool. So want a copy of Cartridge of Black and White 2 in English. Can use some money from your part-time. Sounds like a plan. Yeah, I'm needing to convince myself to stop buying games for a bit. Steam sale put me back in like the mentality of buying a whole bunch of games, but like now it's over. Now there's no sale. And I bought a bunch of games. I should play those games. Here's a rare Zapdos card. Nice. Okay, so reading back through, Shaman got banned for some ability it had. Just something that was like too unbalanced and they didn't catch in like testing. The XY sets for fire. I have one XY. Like, I bought one XY trainer box just because it was in Walmart. Some moon sets were cool. Yeah, that was when I got back into it. It was enjoyable for a little bit. Yeah, honestly, like post Let's Go, just really post Sun and Moon, but like post Let's Go, like Let's Go came out, and then really everything after that, like, excuse me, I stopped paying as much attention to the stuff that wasn't like main games. Like it just, the interest suddenly wasn't there anymore. And Sword and Shield hasn't held me like that. Like Galar has some cool Pokemon, but I wasn't compelled to like get super into the rest of everything. And I feel like just the vibe of the community there for a little while was like that, though. Like as a whole, was in general was kind of like, all right, this happened, but like no one was like. I feel like there wasn't as much like hype just around like being into Pokemon as there was for a bit there. Which admittedly probably comes down to how divided the community was as a whole. Like there wasn't a lot of like Pokemon community spirit there for a bit. If you win the lottery, you're spending it all on X and Y sets. You can just build a house out of the XY sets. Sonata Soldier Black 2, that was a mistake. Rip. TCG's been blowing up recently, though. Probably. I mean, I fell so far out of the community, I wouldn't really know. Yo, Emma, name a Pokemon 3, 2, 1. Squirtle. Is Ben 10 a Pokemon? Is Mayonnaise an instrument? Black-white cards were crazy cool. I was so far. I haven't actually seen black-white cards at all. Plasma cards? What was special about plasma cards? Oh, it's a Team Plasma. Okay. They just look cool. Gotcha. Makes sense. Makes sense. they sucked, but they looked cool. Very fair. That means me as a kid would have loved them. No grasp in any capacity on like how valuable a card was or like how good a card was in competitive. If it looked cool, I loved it. If it sparkled, I was sold. EX better than GX. Agreed. Not that I have any dog in the fight. Do you think you could win a Splatoon battle against 4 people against only me? Only if those 4 people aren't allowed to touch their controllers. I haven't played Splatoon in so long. I kind of want to play it again suddenly, now that it's been mentioned. Got a good looking Tapu Koko from Sword Shield. I haven't seen any Sword Shield cards. I didn't pay attention to them at all. The Dynamax cards from Sword Shield sets look really cool. I've seen Dynamax Pikachu. I've seen that one. I've seen the meme videos. Yeah, there are rainbow cards now. I know they've at least been a thing since Gen 7. I don't know if they were a thing in Gen 6. But I know Sun Moon had those. The fake copies of Black White printed on a different cartridge. Think you could trade Pokemon with an actual real cartridge, or would it not work? I don't know if like detection, like if like fake, if you know, like hack detection was that good on DS trading. Like I would assume like a pirated copy of a Switch game wouldn't trade. It would be a bold move to even attempt to like turn on your system's internet with that running, but I feel like a DS game would work. I don't know why it wouldn't. I mean, as long as all the code's still there. I mean, if you're using a legitimate DS and it's playing on that, you have legitimate communication hardware. I don't see why it wouldn't. I don't remember Raichu card, but it was stolen. Rip, man. The only thing I think you'd really risk is, like, with the trade from an illegitimate copy, is, like, if it's an illegitimate ROM loaded on there and, like, it's modified a little, like, say it's, like, a randomizer and you don't know it. Yeah, say it's like a randomizer and you don't know it. And it has a illegal ability and moveset. Like, I don't know if a DS to DS trade would notice it, but like going up to bank or up to home probably would. From what I would assume. Remember you could go to GameStop and they'd give you those cards? Oh, the promo cards? When was that? I feel like I remember that. XY sets were crazy. Yeah, you mentioned that. I have one. Like I said, I have like the one Elite Trainer box from that. I forget what. It's behind some stuff, so I can't even like read it from here. Yeah. Started with Sinnoh, but you're such a Nova boy. I'm hoeing all the way, man. I will always play more Hoenn content. A Let's Go Hoenn game would be so much fun, actually. Technically, you started with black and white, but X and Y is where it took off for you. That's fair. I think that happens in some cases, right? Like you get into Pokemon with one. Like you dip your toes in with one, but then a new one comes out, and so you're like in it when everyone else is, and you're like, oh, this is like a whole different beast. Honestly, that was kind of Sun and Moon for me. Like, I had been into Pokemon, clearly, since Gen 3. Had seen friends playing Gen 2 and Gen 1. They were cool-looking games. I wanted them for a long time. I got Fire Red. I got Emerald and Sapphire. Like, I was like, heck yes, more Pokemon. Always. but like I got those well after they came out and didn't know how to like communicate with other people that they were cool games. I just accepted that they were cool games and like moved on with everything. But then Sun and Moon was like the first time that I got a Pokemon game the day it came out, and then like saw other people playing a Pokemon game the day it came out, and was like, oh wow, these other people are playing it, and like really got into it. And then finished up the game around the time other people were starting to finish it up. Completed my decks before some people, and people were like, whoa, how'd you do that fast? Like by putting an unhealthy amount of time into it was the answer. But like honestly, so like yeah, Gen 7's really the time that I like dove headfirst into Pokemon like fully. Give you Johto remakes, some Let's Go Johto content in here. Ashwin and Kalos, so it would have been so much more satisfying. They can't do it though. They can't do it. They could. In theory they could, but they can't. They can't do it. Bought the Alakazam EX Secret Rare from Fates Collide at a Pokemon convention for like $8. Nice. Pokemon Stadium gives you Vietnam flashbacks. Oh, they let them on Alola? They did! Oh yeah, they did, didn't they? But I guess they also kind of changed up the whole formula with the Gen 8 show, so it makes sense that he did it. I don't know. I still need to watch like the majority of the anime, so I won't have an opinion until I've watched all the anime. I'm on like episode 5 of Indigo League. I started that a year ago. I still have the tab open on my phone, but I haven't watched it since then. But yeah, I withhold an opinion on that for at least a little while longer. I need to find time that I'll sit down and actually watch the show some more. Not specifically Galar, and you kind of like it. Yeah, that's like the interesting side of it, I guess. Like I said, they mixed up the formula for it. You want to watch Journey, but you don't want to watch it on Disney XD? Why not? You got beef with Disney there, man? Is Journey on Netflix? I wouldn't imagine Journey's on Netflix already. Netflix is terrible about recommending stuff, so I honestly wouldn't be able to tell you what's on there or not. Netflix just kind of decides what it wants to show you. Like, to its detriment, Netflix doesn't show me stuff. Best Pokemon movie. I have one, I don't remember the name of it. I feel so bad that I don't remember the name of it. Oh, because of all the reruns. Everything's on Netflix? I wish that was the case. Netflix seems to have such a small library now, at least for me. Outside of their, like, originals. Like, part of the problem is that, like, it shows me, like, 10 categories and they're different every time. And half of those categories are just things that are also in the other categories. So it's like, you're showing me so few shows here, I don't know what to do. The movie where Unknown's portrayed as a god. Every movie, because Unknown is a god. Yet in the game it sucks. The one place it's not is in the game. Or really, if it used any more of its power, it would be uncontrollable and it would just destroy the world. Wishmaker wasn't bad. The Jirachi movie's the one I remember. It was really gold. No, you're good. You don't have to correct that typo. You can leave it. Or the Celebi one? I don't, though. I don't remember it. I wish I remembered more of them. Yo, Kyle, how's it going, man? How you been? Good to see you in the streams. I guess good morning to you, right? Alright. We're coming up here on the last like 5 minutes or so of the stream tonight, guys. Maybe we'll get super lucky here and get them both. That's like, yeah, morning. All right, man. I hope you had a good weekend. I hope your week's off to a good start so far. I forget. What's like the 3D animated one that recently came out? Maybe not even recently came out, but came out at some point. It's like the Mewtwo Strikes Back or something like that. No, not Detective Pikachu. Detective Pikachu is like different. No. Like yeah. Detective Pikachu, yes, was 3D because it was live action with Pokemon added in with like realistic looks. But this is like cartoony 3D animation. And again, it might not have actually been recent. I just found it on Netflix recently. Was that a remake? I don't know, I remember Mel and I started watching it, but it was weird because we put on like Japanese audio and English subtitles, but it was like English closed captioning and then Japanese audio. So it didn't actually mesh. It wasn't subtitles. Was a remake of the first movie? Okay, yeah, then it was that then. I need to actually try to watch that not in like a memeing way, because that's how Mel and I tried watching. It's like, oh, let's put on like the Japanese audio and English subtitles, but the only English subtitles were closed captions. Yeah, I don't know all the films. Like, I didn't watch a lot of the films as a kid. I wasn't the most into Pokemon as a kid. Crazy I started by playing a spin-off game and slowly learning more and more by collecting black and white cards and X and Y cards, and here you are now. It just slowly pulls you in, right? You've watched every single Pokemon movie. Impressive. You have a Darkrai one. That's all you know. It's something with Darkrai. Feeling when bad for anyone rewatching Wishmaker? Why is that? It's a canon Pikachu. Ryan Reynolds was so good in that movie. Mel and I finally watched Detective Pikachu because that is also on HBO Max, by the way. I think that's where it was. I'm pretty sure that's where we watched it from. It's so good. Yeah, I think it is Vanillix. I think it's on there. Because like I missed it in theaters, and then it got rented on like a family Amazon account at one point, and I forgot to go in and watch it before it ran out on the subscription. But so of everyone in my family, I was the one who hadn't seen hadn't seen Detective Pikachu. Alrighty, guys, we're gonna do one more encounter of each for the night and then wrap up. My voice is killing me. I forgot to get water before the stream started, so it's a quick end. I am aware, and I apologize, but it's been a fun night hanging out with you guys again. 3 in a row. I feel like it's been forever since we've had 3 streams in a row. All right, here we go, guys. Moment of truth. Azelf. We'll get Regidrago underway. We'll see if we got a shiny for the night. No Azelf tonight. Unfortunate. I had a feeling we were going to get Azelf. Regidrago we didn't get, but that's kind of to be expected, it seems, from how everything goes with these. So, thank you guys so much for watching the stream. I love hanging out with you guys and spending time talking and just having fun. Hopefully, we'll stream again soon. Same time. Again, I can promise the same time. I can't promise the days. We'll see if we can keep the streak going, though. So, thank you guys so much for watching the stream, and until next time, y'all, take care.